Done working on Desslok's Command Cruiser. Basically, the only thing I have left before I can prime it are these seams on these big vertical fins in the back. Another problem I have, it doesn't sit right on the stand. It sits at an angle on the stand. And I'm trying to figure out how to fix that. And it's not necessarily the stand itself. It's in part how the ship sits on the stand. But we'll get that fixed. The big vertical uprights in the back though, it's the seam where they join the body. It was bad, way bad. And I'm using Mr. Dissolve Putty on that, and it seems to be doing a fairly decent job. So as soon as I get that done, she gets primered. She should be primered today. That will be a happy step, because I'll get my stand issues fixed with her real quickly. There, you can see she's listing to one side on that stand. She's not upright. Alright folks, I'm gonna go get to work on these things. See you in a bit. We're here with a short update on Desslok's Command Cruiser. I went ahead and gave it a primer coat because I wanted to see a couple of things, and I saw things, well, I like most of what I saw, but there's a couple of spots I didn't have completely cleaned up. So let me show you guys what I did wrong, so to speak. Oh, there we go. There we go, perfect. Alright, first off, there was some dirt right there, so I'm going to have to sand that paint once it cures and fix that. Same thing right there, a little bit of dirt right there, and right there. What I'm happy about are how these seams came out along back here. They came out pretty good. Alright, let's turn her. I got my problem with her sitting on the stand corrected. She's sitting level on the stand. Alright, on this side, most of this side came out really good. There was no dirt or anything on this side. She's looking really, really nice to me. That seam came out fairly well too. Okay. The back side came out looking pretty good. I need to hit her with primer coat again, and there's the underside. You can see those panel lines look great. And the front of the underside, and there's a spot right there that came out bad. They'll have to sand a little bit. But all in all, this is moving along very nicely. So in a few days I'll come back, I'll hit this with the sandpaper, fix a few of the rough spots, and then we'll be able to start really painting her up and getting her to look really good. I'm going to try some experimental stuff on this. I've done pre-shading before. I did it on Mothra. I'm going to try some pre-shading of the panel lines on this and a few other spots and see what we can do. I got a new airbrush to try out. So, a couple of new airbrushes to try out. So this one's going to get the new airbrushes just to see how it works and how she comes out. But I'm happy to say this one's getting near done. 2 or 3 coats of paint, colors, and she'll be good. Back in a bit. Okay, this one's short. One thing, I started playing with cleaning this up a little bit, and I know I got some bubbles and things to sand down. That was a big bubble right there. That's not the reason for this. I started looking at my seams. Most of my seams came out on this thing really, really well. I mean, I need to do some really light sanding a place or two, but I found one bad spot right there. So let me zoom that in so you guys can see that. And I'm not going to let that seam stay that way. It's way too visible. So I'm about to get the sandpaper out and just go to town on that thing. Alright. But other than that, this thing came out really nice. So we're going to get these paint spots fixed. There's that spot and a few other spots here and there. A little light sanding with like some 600 or 1200 grit sandpaper and a few spots. She'll be ready for her first bit of color. And I'll explain that as I paint. I've got 2 new airbrushes to play with. One I won in a contest, the other one I bought because I found it for ridiculously cheap. And I'm itching to try them out, and this is going to be the one I get to try them on. Not that big thing back there, you know. This thing. This 5-pound wonder. I can exercise just by lifting this thing. Because it is solid resin and it is heavy. But anyhow, that's where I'm at with that. I got a few bad spots to fix in the paint. That one scene, she gets color. Hopefully I can get some color on her this weekend. If not, it's going to wait till Thanksgiving. See you in a bit. Everyone, I just spent about an hour working on Dessloks, and I wasn't paying attention apparently before I primed it, because I start looking at it, you're going to start seeing lots of patches on it where I have messed up. Alright? Like, yeah, all the gray and blue. The blue's where I've sanded heavily. The gray is where I had to add some stuff. And you can see it just looking at it pretty quickly. You can see I've been doing a lot of sanding and working on those seams because they were not up to par with what I want. I still have some spots I got to figure out how to get in and clean out real well. I'm probably going to have to take a toothpick and scrape it out, to be honest with you. So you can see I got a lot of spots to clean up on this thing yet. And I don't know how I missed it, but the whole front of the stand had one big seam on it. And this thing right here had a pretty big ridge on it that doesn't even look like I sanded it at all, and I know I did. And I'm going to have to refill some panel lines right there, rescribe some panel lines right there. So she's going to need a little bit more work before I can put another coat on her. I'll get a coat on her in the next few days though. She's not going to be perfect. I don't think I have the time to make her perfect right now. Too many obligations, too much going on. But I'm going to try to get her close. Okay? She's not going to be my best work, but she's going to be in the top 15-20%. And I'm only saying that because of time constraints, not anything else. I need to get on that Millennium Falcon. We've got a month gone by in the group build, and all I've done is built some chairs. Yeah, this has got to get done. Alright, be back later. Back with Dessloks. She's been primered again. Let's take a look and see what I have to fix. Apparently I am half asleep when I'm working on this thing, because I don't know how I missed that. It's got to be sanded smooth. I need a teeny bit of light sanding right there. Okay, turning her a little bit. There's a spot there that needs some sanding. Don't know how I missed that. Teeny spot right there. Teeny spot right there. And a big spot right there that needs to be sanded smooth. Alright, oh, and I missed a bad one there. But other than that, she's pretty close to being done with this process. I can't believe I missed so many spots when I was sanding her. And other than this one over here, I don't think anyone would really notice most of that. This is just me being a perfectionist. That's an overrun with paint right there, so if I lightly sand that, that'll go away. Okay, that is where I used Aves, and I got the Aves too thick. I'm off camera. That right there is just an overrun with the paint. That right there is where I got the Aves just a tiny bit too thick. Okay, and the stand isn't perfect down along here. I'll probably try to fix that. Other than that, I've got everything else pretty much done. So we'll get these seams fixed. We will get another coat of paint on her. Hopefully I can start giving it a color coat really soon. This guy needs to get done. He just does. Because I need to be working on this and its big sister. Alright. Back with an update when I get it done. Well, just gave her a bath. You see she's still a little wet. I'm going to go dry her off in a minute. Fixed up some panel lines that were missing right here. Fixed up all my spots. Hopefully that's the last round of that. And we can give her one more coat of primer. After that, it's on to color coats. I'm looking forward to color coating this thing. Let me go dry her up, and tomorrow she gets her last primer coat. Let's hope. Because I don't want to get that primer too thick. We'll start losing some more of these panel lines. And I like the panel lines on there. I'll be back after I'm done with the primer coat and let you know how it went. Hello everyone. Yes, that's Dessloks in front of you. Long time no see, correct? When I was setting up my new workspace, some bad things happened to poor Dessloks. one of these two upper antennas broke off. It broke off well, but the alignment between them is no longer perfect. Second, you can see it. This one's intact, this one broke off. The antenna up here wasn't such a big deal because it broke off at the very base. But these things, when they break like that, my experience is they don't go back together right. I'm trying to decide what to do with it. Should I take the pin vise, drill a really tiny hole in both of it, and stick a piece of rod in there? That's the best option for fixing it, and I'm going to attempt that in a second. I got to see if I got any rod small enough. A sewing needle would work. I got plenty of those. So I'm going to attempt to do that. I might just do that by heating that needle up really hot and shoving it in there. This just bugs me because this thing was going along perfect. It had its flaws in a few spots, but I put an awful lot of work in this thing for that to just snap right off. I tried gluing it earlier, and when I just picked it up and touched it, it came right back off again. It's not gluing well. And even if I do glue it on there right, it's going to have a seam there, no matter what I do. Because it's too delicate to get crazy and aggressive with fixing that, which is a shame. But at the very least, this thing is going to get painted, because it's great practice for some types of painting that I want to do. So I'm going to paint her. I want to see if I can repair that first, because I planned on entering this at a contest in my local hobby shop. Not happening now. Not with that broken part on it. Just not going to work. Let me see what I can do. I'll come back and let you guys know what I did.
Please remain seated the entire time the ride is in motion. Keep all hands, feet, and other objects inside at all times. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride. All clear?
Yay! We're off! Whoa! Ah! Whoa! Here we go! Here we go!
After this, be sure to check out the list flag.